let you get out there and show properties and put on offers, higher chances of you winning afterwards. But if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. You know, like they say, it's a numbers game. I don't think it's a numbers game. I think it's more of doing it consistently and doing it persistent. And you're going to see. And it goes back to, as Napoleon Hill said, persistent is an essential factor in the procedure of transmuting the desire. What did we say our desires were when we started this course, or when we started actually back in December? I said we should have a goal over here. Our goal is to hold that golden lady. The golden lady means being a centurion producing realtor, 263,000. We at Century 21 Innovative want to have that desire. And that starts off with this. The desire to make sure that, hey, I will be a centurion producing realtor by the end of 2017. First quarter was bad. Hey, it's okay. You still have, well, April's over now. You still have 9 months or something like that, or 9 to 10 months left, whatever the numbers are. I can't remember. 8 months actually left. It's okay. You still have that, but it starts off with saying, today I'm going to make that change. Today I'm going to do whatever it takes to get into that positivity mindset and put it into the desire and make it happen. So let's look at this, the persistent chapter over here. Persistent is going to be, the basis of persistent is the power of willpower and the desire. Remember what I said? We have 60,000 thoughts in a day. So you need to have that willpower and say, hey, how am I going to change that negative into a positive? And then have a positive attitude every single day on that. So it all starts off. I mean, it could be as simple as somebody that just cut you off, that offer didn't go through, or maybe the financing didn't happen, but it's okay. Move on with the persistency and saying, we're going to move on to the next property. We're going to find another better property for them, or get a better approval, or whatever it might be. So those 60,000 thoughts you're going to have, hey, I don't know which is positive or negative, but it all starts off with you as an individual and say, I'm going to have more positive thoughts than the negative, right? And that's what that needs to be. And it's that willpower. And a few of us carry on despite all opposition until they attain their goal. And it's very true, right? I mean, there's so many people that are out there, whether it's rain and shine, they're still out there knocking on doors. Whether it's plus 20 or minus 20, they're out there knocking on doors. Either they're out there knocking on doors, or they're picking up the phones with all opposition because they want to attain the goal and the desire of being that centurion producing realtor. That's what that is. So what does it take? Get rid of those negative thoughts, be persistent, and carry on with the positivity. Willpower. Willpower, I believe, is so important because there's only one person in this world that can help you have a positive attitude and a strong willpower is you, right? I mean, otherwise, ain't going to happen. It's you that's going to start off with. The person that's looking back to you in the mirror is the only person that's going to help you on getting that, achieving that willpower. This is something that I really found. I thought that don't quit. Just say, do it. You know, I mean, I know Nike's got that great thing. Actually, I was watching a movie. Anybody saw Back to the Future? Back to the Future. I was watching Back to the Future 2. Back to the Future 2, yeah. So Michael J. Fox actually puts on shoes, which is by Nike. And this movie was made in 1989, the second part. The first one was 85. The second was in 89. And here's Nike advertising. 1989, Steven Spielberg in that same movie shows something in there where the Jaws comes and eats him. It's actually a 3D. 89, there was no 3D. But now fast forward to 2000, and I don't know when the 3D things came out. But he had imagined that. He had seen that, and he showed that in his movie in the second part of Back to the Future. You know, it's like, it probably wasn't, the technology was too expensive, but he showed it. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, my daughter and I, my wife, were all watching, thinking, wow, in 89, here's still Steven Spielberg showing a 3D version of it. He knows it's possible, it's there. Nike showing some cool shoes and everything of that nature. And now you see those same shoes available today. Probably was a prototype, but don't say I can't do it and don't quit on it. Just do whatever it is. Just thought I'd share that story with you. And I'm thinking, wow, this is really neat. Going back and watching this movie of 1989. That time we were thinking, whoa, it's not possible. here it is. Because actually in that movie, what he shows is he goes to 2015, and we're 17 now. That's what the movie was all about. You get a chance, it's a great movie. So define the causes of persistence. I mean, Napoleon Hill stated that, and there's so many things about persistence, so many things that we can do, is that you need to have a definite major purpose. And we talk about this on our weekly meetings. It goes back to what's your why? What is your definite purpose? What do you want to do in life? Where do you see yourself? Your goal, your ambition. Like I mentioned, our goal when we set, a number of us were in December, that I want to hold that golden lady in February 2018. I want to have that golden lady. I want to be able to see that golden lady. I want to be able to get in there. To be that golden lady means you need to be a centenarian producing realtor. That's your definite major purpose. And you might have other goals in life. As I mentioned, I want to put 200 kids to school in India. That's my definite major purpose. I want to help as many children back home. Yes, I mean, you may have something, Ria, Omar, you all have different definite major purpose, but it starts off with our definiteness of purpose. What is it you want in life? And that will give you all the power, will give you that willpower to go out there. Good day, bad day, rainy day, shiny day, whatever it might be, but it'll give you that. So DMP, definiteness of purpose, whatever that is. Find out what it is, and then work towards that. Money is good, yes, but I believe that you should also have something goals in life, a why, right? And if your why is not big enough, your why is not scary enough, it's not going to be something that's going to be able to wake you up, right? It's not something that's going to be able to wake you up and say, hey, what the heck we're going to do? But definiteness of purpose is very important. Desire. What was the first and foremost thing Napoleon Hill said? The achievement of desire. Everything starts with a desire. And that's where that is also. Accumulation of wealth. Desire to be the centenarian producing realtor. Desire to see that I'm a great mother to my children. A good father. Whatever it is. To be good in life, relationship. Desire. Desire is so important that that's what that stands. And like I mentioned, desire should be a burning desire. Remember what Napoleon Hill said? It should be white, hot, burning, white and hot. So that fire of white is really, really hot. So you need to have that white, hot, burning desire. If you don't have that, it ain't going to happen, because then what's going to happen is you're just going to say, quit, right? But I believe you can do it. So that burning desire to succeed, the burning desire to do well is so important. Self-reliance. Absolutely. You know, I don't know if you were watching on Thursday. The Raptors were winning on the third quarter by 21 points. The fourth quarter, they were losing by 2 points. You start the fourth quarter, you're winning by 21. You figured it's a cakewalk. 12 minutes is going to be a cakewalk. And then gets to 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's tied. And what happens? The Milwaukee Bucks take the lead by 2 points. It's only 3 minutes left. I mean, obviously, you're going to be like, whoa. And you can see from their body language, yes, they were rejected, dejected, however you want to call it. But in 3 minutes, the last 3 minutes came back, and they won the game. It's either we go to Game 7, that would have been today, boys, and play another, 12, 24, 48 minutes again, because you don't know what's going to happen on Saturday. And if you lose that, you're pretty much knocked out for the season. Or 3 minutes, just play 3 more minutes. Give it everything you got. And guess what? That's what they did, and they win by 7 points. They stopped the people. They stopped them from scoring any more baskets for 3 more minutes. Yet they outscored them from all the way, all that 9 minutes. But they stopped them 3 minutes. Self-reliance, and that's what I said. What a great comeback. What a way to do it. What a way. And in that 3 minutes, if you saw the Milwaukee Bucks, their body language changed. Their attitude just changed. They're like, oh man, this is it, we're going to lose it now. Because all of a sudden it started off the way when they came on that court, they were pumped up, they were energized, even though they were not at home, they were at the other field. But it shows self-reliance, and I believe anything can change with your body language, the way you talk to yourself, and goes back to our 4th chapter of auto-suggestion. If you can communicate to yourself, if you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am beautiful, I am great, I am handsome, I am pretty, I am whatever, that will start with that. And that's when your desire will start. I am a centurion producing realtor. I will be a centurion producing realtor. Whatever it is, it's that self-reliance. Beautiful game. If you didn't watch, just watch the last 30 minutes of the fourth quarter. Definiteness of plans. You know, Napoleon Hill said you got to take action, but if you don't have any plans in place, it's pretty useless, right? You can have a research and say, this is how my prototype car is going to be, how everything is going to look. But if you don't have the plans to make that car, manufacture that car, or the parts to do it, or if you don't have the plans to say, how are you going to be that centurion producing realtor? Well, I'm going to make 10 listings and maybe about 12 buyers. That's going to be 22 transactions for the year. Great, you're going to have that happen. But if you don't know how your plans are, it's going to happen. Action is very important. But the plan, I believe, is the first and foremost. How many doors are you going to knock? How many people are you going to talk to? How many rejections are you going to take? Are you willing to take? And it starts off with the plans, because every business, whether it's real estate or anything, there's definitely some rejection, but you have to have a definiteness of plans to have that. Knowledge, so important. Last week we had a packed house and we talked about the 16 definiteness of a fair housing plan that Kathleen Wynn talked about. Knowledge is so important. I encourage you, on Thursday, there was the budget announced. Go and read about the budget. See what's happening out there. Understand that. There weren't a lot of things about the housing market or anything, but I should believe, I'm a firm believer that you should have a lot of knowledge, not just about your business, but outside the economy, what's happening in the economy, how many jobs are going to be created. This week, coming week, the Stats Canada is going to talk about jobs, unemployment number, what has happened in the U.S., what has happened globally. Knowledge is so important, very, very important. If you are listening to this, and if you're if you're a sales rep, I'm encouraging you, maybe you should look and say, how can I become a broker? That becomes as knowledge. Now when you look at, and I look at your sign, Yasmin Merchant, and when I see that 6-letter word broker, I think I have more respect for you than just a sales representative. It goes back to knowledge over here, right? And it all starts off with imagination, because whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So if I can plant that into your mind over here, Yasmin, you can certainly say that, hey, I should look and say, become a broker, right? May not happen right away. It could be 18 months, 20 months, but whatever it is, it started off with a planting of that positive seed of imagination. Knowledge, so important. Continuous knowledge. Cooperation. Napoleon Hill stated this, and it's so important that you should work in a cohesive way with everybody. In this business over here, if you are a buyer representative, man, work with your other realtors that are out there with the listing side. You know, we always get a phone call, or we always get an email and say, can you give me a feedback on this? And I do it. Sometimes I'm very bad, but I've done it, and I've actually given feedback and said, hey, my client didn't like this, my client didn't like this, and especially if the property was not in the best of shape. Let's say the seller left the dishes out there and this and whatnot. You should give that feedback, because you know what? Whatever you give out to the universe, you will get back. So one day when you have a listing, people will give you that feedback, right? So I do that. Cooperation, work with other realtors, help other realtors and say, Yasmin, I saw your listing yesterday, but man, the place was a mess. You may want to go back and talk to your seller, right? Help you sell that property. It might not be me buying it, but at least next time when somebody walks in on a weekend today, and at least someone will be much better, it's much better prepared. Simple as that. And you might get more money for it, or at least you move on to your next transaction. Cooperation, working with others, be it other realtors, mortgage brokers, home inspectors, lawyers, whatever it might be. I believe when you can work in a cooperation with others, things are going to be great. And you know what? Persistence. It's like handing over the baton, because you know that the other person is going to hand it over, and we're all going to work together on this relay race to get to the end line, which is a commission check, right? Because if something doesn't go through, your mortgage person doesn't do a job, it doesn't work well. You're not going to get that commission. Home inspector, lawyer, falters, something happens in that. Cooperation. Well, will and power. You've got to have the will to do something. If you don't have the will to do something, the power within you will not come. It's two words put into one. And you have to have that will to do it. Because if you don't have the will to do it, nothing will come and you will not have the power. And that's what I believe fundamentally. You need to wake up and ask yourself that question in the morning and say, do I have the will to become a centenarian producing realtor? Do I have the will or to do the next, get to the next level? Maybe it's a relationship, personal relationship, business relationship, whatever it is, succeed. Do I have the will and do I have the knowledge to become a broker? Right? Then the power will come, I think, from the answers and from the universe itself. So you need to start asking yourself, do you have that will? Do you have that will? Do you have the drive to wake yourself up, to get to the next level? It's very, very important. If you don't have that, nothing is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And that starts off with you as an individual. Habit. You know, our parents and my mother always told me, my dad always told me, you know, the people you surround yourself with, the people you surround yourself with and who you hang around with, you're going to catch that habit. You surround yourself with an alcoholic, you become an alcoholic. You surround yourself with a person who gambles, you may eventually become like that also. Habit is basically what you pick up. If you want to pick up bad habits, surround yourself with wrong people. But if you want to pick up good habits, surround yourself with successful people. Surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with the right attitude people. That's how that will be. And you will get the right habit and you will succeed. Surround yourself with agents that already succeeded. If I know you've already done really well, maybe go and ask that person, take him or her out for a coffee or something, and ask what they do. What's their habit? What is it that they've done? You know, it's probably must be something like I talked to Sylvia Morris. Sylvia Morris is with Century 21 Leading Edge, $1 million producer realtor. And what does she do? She gets in the office every day like 8 o'clock. But before 8 o'clock, she's at the gym like 6:30, 7 o'clock. That's the habit she's got. She works out, takes care of her body, and mentally prepared and bees at the office, does her affirmation on a daily basis, and starts making phone calls from 9 to 11. It's a working day. It's not a joy day. It's a working day. Either she's out there knocking on doors or she's got the habit of phone calling. Find out who that is. Get a mentor, someone that you know that has already succeeded in this business, and see what they do, right? That's all there is to it. I mean, if we look at all the cars that are in the world right now, different companies from Toyota to Honda to BMW to Mercedes to Audi, whatever it might be, it's pretty much the same car. It's got the engine and everything, little tweak here and there. But they've just taken that first car and they said, how can I make a difference in that? That's what you need to do. And surround yourself with that right person, whoever he or she is, and create a habit. Habit is so important because that will conclude you to your success or not, because if not, you're going to falter. Habit also, I should say, is what I've seen is creating a schedule. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what is it I want to do, and creating a schedule for the entire week, Monday to Friday, so that way you know that maybe in the morning, every day for 2 hours or 3 hours, I'm going to be prospecting. I'm going to be knocking on doors. I'm going to be talking to so many people. In the evening, if I'm not busy on that day, I will do more prospecting to generate leads. It should be that habit, and then work towards that. That's all you need to do. Is that you? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. Perfecto. So habit. Create a schedule and work towards that. And everything should go back to the desire. Remember what our desire was? You want to be a centenarian producing realtor. That means you want to make $263,000 for the year. Well, that's your ultimate goal. That's your definiteness of purpose. Go back to it, and your habits will work towards that. But if you don't have a definiteness of purpose, if you don't know what your desire is, you don't know anything. And your plans will work towards that. Your plans will work towards that. That's when you're going to go on and say, hey, I will do it. I will do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes to get to that. And I believe when you surround yourself with successful people, you're going to have the plans. You're going to have the knowledge, because you're going to be like, wow, this is what this individual is doing. I need to get that same knowledge. You know, it's like Samim used to push me and say, you got to become a broker. And finally, I had the knowledge to go out there and courage to pass after a number of times, but I won't say how many times on camera over here. But I finally did it. It happened because somebody was pushing me, because somebody had that, saw that I can do so. That's because I was surrounding myself with successful people that's already done it. And it's doable. So doable. So get out there and do it. So like they say, lack of persistence, like anything else, is a true weakness common to the majority of men or women. It is a weakness from which they overcome the effort. So like anything else, if you give up, well, yes, you've given up. You've lost that willpower. If you give up, you've pretty much shown that your desire was not white hot burning. That's what he states in the book. If you give up, that means your definiteness of purpose was not strong. If you give up, you just did not have that willpower. So that's what he states in the book. Lack of persistence, doing it over and over again, you will ultimately get that. And yes, you know, like anything else, if you take Walt Disney, he bankrupt 7 times during the rise of the Walt Disney. He bankrupt 7 times. I would have bankrupt 1 time and said, the heck with this, no more Walt Disney anymore. But yet he bankrupt 7 times. Colonel Sanders started his KFC at the age of 65. The age of 65, I would have said, where's my retirement home? Right? That's what I would have said, or that's what many of us would have said. But they didn't give up. Steve Jobs, God bless his soul. All the other people also, I should say, God bless their soul. Being fired from the own company you started off with. But yet he came back, made Pixels, and then now all of a sudden, you know, the phones or whatever it might you want to call it. That's what I call lack of persistence. But these people, they didn't give up. They consistently went out there and do it. Actually, I was just watching the movie Gandhi a couple of months ago, and same thing in it. It shows that he was consistency and he was persistent. He didn't care, but he wanted to make sure India was free. And now you see India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh is free because he was persistent, saying, get out of my country, whatever it might be. And the British actually did cooperate. Just watch the movie, and if you have a chance, either read his autobiography, because it does also talk about Gandhi in the book, Think and Grow Rich. I'm just asking you, in your business over here, in our business over here, all we need to do is get out there on a daily basis, 4 to 5 days a week, and knock on as many doors, talk to as many people, and give out your information. Talk to as many people and send out emails. Talk to as many people and say, hey, we got a great condo project, the one tomorrow we're talking about. Talk to as many people and say, maybe doing open houses. Whatever it is, we're meeting with different people over here, different bankers. Get together with the mortgage people, with the banks, and say, hey, maybe we could do a realtor day, a buyer seminar, whatever it is. It's persistence getting you to your ultimate goal of your being a centenarian producing realtor. Persistent to get you to the next level, persistent in increasing your knowledge at the same time. So lack of persistence is not going to get you where you want to be. So don't give up, ladies and gentlemen. There is going to be failures because others have failed more than you and I have. And yes, in this business, you're going to fail also. Welcome to the world of reality, right? Welcome to the world of reality. That's what that is. But don't give up. Don't give up. Never underestimate the power of persistence, as they say, right? And weak desires, I mentioned that, brings weak results. Just as a small amount of fire makes a small amount of heat. That's what he said. If your desires are weak, it's basically you're not going to get to that. So it's got to be that white, hot, burning desire. And he says white, hot. If you don't have that, it ain't going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. So go out there and make it a white, hot, burning desire. If you find yourself lacking persistence, the weakness may be remedied by building a stronger fire under your desire. Get out there. Burning desire. Find your definiteness of purpose. Yes, it may not just be money. It might be something else you want to do. And that's when you're going to say, hey, great, I'm going to go out there and work with as many buyers. I'm going to travel to Clarington and show some buyers, because that way I can send so many kids to school. I can help the poor and needy. I can do something. I'm not talking about just money over here, ladies and gentlemen. This starts off with your desire to make a difference in other people's lives. When you can help other people achieve their goals, you will achieve your goals. Think about that. If we can help as many people buy and sell real estate, or if I can help as many people get out of the basement and own a home, you just made your goals. You just helped as many people. You just became a centenarian producing realtor. Simple. That's all it takes, right? You need to have that white, hot, burning desire to do so. And if you don't have that, and if you're not persistent in your goals, it's not going to happen. You know, the population of Toronto is about 2 million or 3 million or something of that nature. I can't remember, but let's say 5, no, actually it's about 5 to 6 million. So 5 billion. And of that in Toronto, there's only 48,000 realtors. I don't know how many percentage that works out to, but it works out less than 1%, right? Works out less than 1% because 5 million to 1% would be 500,000, I think, or something like that. Whatever it works out to. But it shows that there is very few realtors. And those that have done it have basically taken that remedy to get out there, had that desire to get their license. I'm asking you now that you've got your licenses, what are you going to do to succeed in this business? What are you going to be the top 10% or top 20 in the Toronto Real Estate Board out of the 48,000? What does it take? Well, it takes you to be consistency and persistency, get out there knocking on doors and talking to people. It takes the opportunity to get out there and doing things. It takes that white hot burning desire to say that I am going to succeed at this business at whatever it takes. But it takes consistency and persistency and having that white hot burning desire to do so. Anybody on call over there, Brenton?
Yes, actually I was waiting for you to.
Oh, all right.
So one person's asking, so Sabbir, I get demotivated at times.
I get what?
Demotivated.
Uh-huh.
At times when, leads are not coming in. So is there anything that I can do, like I change from, I do one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is, when I go through one deal, and sometimes it doesn't go, follow through.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I get demotivated for a couple of days.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And when I do that,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is, then everything else falls apart.
Absolutely.
So is there anything I can, do?
So what I found that is and like I mentioned, Walt Disney failed 7 times in the rise of the empire of his Walt Disney. So they failed also. So I believe to succeed in this business in life, you got to learn to fail, and you got to learn to take that. I don't believe it's failing. What I learned is that you win sometimes or you learn sometimes. So take that as a learning experience. Why did that deal did not go through? So learn from it. Get rid of that negative word out of there, fail, and say you win something or you learn something from that experience. And that only starts off with your concentration of positivity, your concentration of keeping a mental positive attitude. So if you did not get that deal, that's fine. There must be something that you should learn from it. Whoever this is, learn from it. So like they say, concentration of having a positive attitude, a positive mind finds a way to make it be done. But a negative mind will always find a way and say that it cannot happen. This deal will not go through. So all I'm going to say is you win, or basically let your mind or let yourself know that I learned something new from it and move on from there on. So keep a positive attitude. And I found that when you're doing too many things, focus on, you can't eat an elephant at one bite or at one sit. You eat it at different times or different intervals. So it takes time to eat that elephant. And that's how you need to do. You're going to win some, but if not, I'm not going to lose. I'm just going to learn from that transaction. Say, hey, I learned something new from this transaction, and take it on as a learning experience. And that's how that's going to happen. So yes, that's what I would say. Don't take that as a failure, but take it as a learning experience for you. What else, Brenton? Yeah? Mm-hmm.
Another person is first-time commenter, but we have been watching for a long time. So this is what the person said. So they've been watching for a long time.
Uh-huh.
This is the first time they're commenting.
Okay.
And asking the question.
Uh-huh.
So Sabbir, I've seen you do this for the last couple of months now.
Uh-huh.
It's very informative. I'm also thinking I'm coming into the speaking field.
Okay.
But in a different sector.
Okay.
Is there any wisdom that you would give to someone who's new when they're entering the field?
Just be confident and just do it. Whatever it takes, just jump in. Fear is always going to be there. Just do it. Get out there. You're always going to be nervous. You're always going to have fears. Whatever you desire, just go out there and do it. And if you fail at it, sorry. If you don't do well, it's okay. You learn from it and you go at it again. That's all. So jump at it full speed with eyes open. That's all I would say to you. Whatever your desire is, whatever you want to do, And if it's not, if it's speaking, there's a lot of opportunities out there, especially now that we have Google. We can find a lot of things that you can do with Google and find some speaking places. Absolutely. Hopefully on that. Somebody had a question here? No? But that's what I would say. Absolutely. So another thing I found that your mental attitude will determine the person you will become. You know, if you have a negative attitude, you are going to be negative. If you have that mental attitude on a daily basis, as soon as you woke up and you say, wow, it's beautiful, the sun just rose, but you might have a negative attitude. You say, man, that sun comes into my window and it doesn't allow me to sleep. Well, you're always going to be negative, right? So have that positive attitude. Positive mental attitude will get you so far away. And I think we've been talking about a number of weeks or months back now, is that start listening to podcasting in your car. Start listening to some positive things in your car, from Tony Robbins to Zig Ziglar to anything that's out there that uplifts you. So that way when you get to the car or you're going to the listing appointment, you're already pumped up and you're like, this is mine, not the other guy's listing. I'm going in there. And if you don't, it's okay. You just learned something new today and move on to the next listing appointment. And it all starts off with persistence and doing it consistently. What else we're saying over here? We talked about this. We talked about this in our this week when we had our condo launch. You know, poverty attracted to those mind is favorable to it as money is attained from them. So if you have this mindset of poverty, you're always going to have a negative attitude. I want you to take this attitude of saying, I am a successful realtor. I can do whatever it takes. I am capable of getting whatever it is for myself, my children, and having that desires. So get rid of those poverty mentality, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll discuss more in our next sessions on this. And the training that we have on Monday, May 15th. This is really important. If you remove yourself from this poverty mentality, you're going to have loads and loads of wealth. And how does wealth come? By attracting more business to yourself, by attracting more clients to yourself. So get rid of this positive poverty mentality and say you are flourished with wealth. Say that you have flourishing abundance of clients coming to you, buyers and sellers and investors always coming to you. And get out there. Whatever your son and daughter needs, get out there and make things happen. Get out there and say that I want to get that Mercedes car. Go out there and work for that Mercedes car, because that way that poverty mentality will be gone, and then you'll be flourished with abundance. We'll talk more on this, and this starts off with your mentality, one of the success laws of success that Napoleon Hill also has. Without persistence, you will be defeated. Absolutely. You know what I mean? A champion will not win a championship without going to the gym every single day. You know, just because you won a game yesterday, that doesn't mean you don't go to the gym today. You got to go to the gym today to practice for tomorrow or Monday's game, whatever it is. That's what persistent is. Just because you did a great deal yesterday, that doesn't mean you don't knock on doors. You got to be knocking on doors. You got to be out there finding new clients consistently. You know, my coach told me to solve all problems. Imagine if you had abundance of clients, tons of clients. I can say, thank you very much, I don't want to deal with you because I've got many people over here. Imagine having that problem. That'd be a great problem to have, right? So imagine that. If you were persistent, if you were always out there and you had abundance of clients, abundance of paychecks coming through, abundance of everything. It all starts off with being persistent. It all starts off with doing it. And the only way to get more clients is your mindset, and get rid of that poverty mentality. Getting rid of that mentality and say, hey, I'm not worth it. I'm not worth driving that BMW. I'm not worth driving that Mercedes. And if you tell me that you can't afford to go a session or you cannot go to hire a coach, that means it goes back to your mentality that you're not worth it. But if you have that mentality, you're always going to be persistent, and that person is going to be saying that, hey, you got to push it. And I found that when you have that mentality, it gives you that white, hot, burning desire. When you have that white, hot, burning desire, you're going to have that DMP, your definite major purpose in life. Whatever your definite major purpose in life, you're going to get out there and do it. Do it good, do it awesome, and do it persistently. That goes over here, back to persistence. Persistence is a state of mind, therefore it cannot be cultivated. It's that state of mind. You're going to do it as many times it takes to get it done. You're going to get out there and do it over and over again until it's perfect. whatever it is. I mean, so many things have failed. I mean, the first phone that came up wasn't the best phone out there, but they improved on it. The first television that came out wasn't the best television. The first 3D TV that came out wasn't the best. That's how this is. Cultivate your business, cultivate yourself, cultivate your mind, and make sure. Keep that negative weeds out there. Keep that negative. Stand guard of your door of your mind every single day. Because you get one negative thoughts, you're going to be negative for the whole day. And when you're negative for a day, it may lead on to a couple of days and your weeks are gone, your month is gone, the quarter is gone. Now you're falling behind of not being the centurion producing realtor that you committed to yourself on that. So persistent will always keep you going in anything. As Napoleon Hill said, persistent is like carbon to steel. Steel did not become steel. It was a different thing before it became steel. It went through that heat. It went through that high, heavy-duty heat of carbon before it became steel. Do some research on it. I don't know the full details. I don't know how much high it is, but that's what they said. It did not become steel overnight. It went through a lot. It went through a lot. I mean, a number of years ago, maybe you've seen it or not, seen the Taj Mahal. Have you ever seen the Taj Mahal, Yasmin? Oh, God, nobody's seen the Taj Mahal. I've seen the Taj Mahal. Just seeing in pictures is different, but being there is an awe. Being there is an awe. It's just like that's all started off with an imagination of, or drawings. I mean, I don't know if they had drawings back then of the emperor and everything, but then when you see that structure, you're like, wow. It was done 700, 800 years ago, yes. And yes, a number of things have happened. I'd love to see the pyramids. I'd love to see a number of things that, you've seen the pyramids, the 7 wonders of the world. I'd love to see these things. And it all must have just started off with an imagination with, I don't know, a group of people or whoever it might be. And then here we are looking back. I don't know how old the pyramids are, but thousands of years? There we go. Thousands of years. So somebody, thousands of years, had some kind of an imagination and built a pyramid. Love to see that. The CN Tower, yeah, just around the corner over here. Imagine something must have started off with the Canadian National because they wanted to put some satellites and they wanted to do certain things. And here we are, got the CN Tower. So close yet, haven't been there in so many years. But that's how that starts off. Imagination, and that starts off with persistence. If you can imagine it, you can conceive it and believe it, it can happen. And that's what it starts off. If you can imagine yourself as your centurion producing realtor, you're going to walk out with that lady February 2018. Persistence. What else? It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. Albert Einstein. Isn't it true? It's the same thing. I'm not asking you to stay with your problems longer here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying is move on. Move on. You didn't win the deal yesterday. It's okay. Let's see. Take them again. Hey, there's more showings over here we can book for you today and show them more properties. If this deal didn't go through, there's another listing. Or maybe what I found actually, this is the best time in this business. If your deal did not go through in that neighborhood, I lost that deal to you yesterday. I'm going to go knock on doors over and say, hey, that house is listed for $799. It's sold for $850 or whatever it is. Go knock on the doors because you know what? You got a solid buyer. You've got a solid buyer. So go and knock on doors in that neighborhood wherever you lost that deal because everybody knows the property was listed for X amount, but the buyer, the neighborhood doesn't know how many offers were there. They don't know how much it's sold for. So why don't you be the good fortunes of good news and say your neighbor's house sold for X amount of thing, the script that we have. Take that, knock on as many doors, and you know what? You'll be double lending over there. So I think this is a phenomenal time to be in this business. Everything is multiples, so why don't you get that listing and do a buyer representation at the same time? It's a great opportunity. It's easy. It's doable. I think it's so doable that if you stay with the problem and continue to dive on that, ain't going to get you anywhere. This will help you to get a listing. This will help you get a buyer because you already had a buyer over there. That's what that would be. So I think it's an awesome, phenomenal business, phenomenal time in the market that we're in right now. If you have a buyer and if you're lost in a particular neighborhood, knock on some doors. If not, if you're lazy, pick up the phone and start making those phone calls in that neighborhood and get some listing appointments going. Very doable. Anything else? So most ideas are still born, and this idea, actually, I'm just talking about, just came in there. Why not we knock on more doors? It's true, right? Because if you had that, then definitely could be due on that. Yes, Brenton, yeah? Mm-hmm.
So one person who's watching is saying, I'm part of another brokerage,
Yes,
but a friend of mine gave me the link to watch this video.
sure.
Okay, so first of all, I want to say thank you.
Thank you, no problem. I appreciate whoever you are. Absolutely. We're trying to help as many people over here.
But next question is, let's say the listing is at Century 21.
Uh-huh.
Let's say it's your listing,
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? And just like as you said, is it okay for me to walk in that neighborhood, even though I'm from another brokerage?
Absolutely. Don't close that door. Absolutely, you can do so. This business, we're all realtors. We can definitely go there. You can definitely go out there and knock on people's doors and generate more business. It's an open market. As long as you're a realtor, as long as you're with Rico, definitely open out there. There's nothing on that, and if you want to discuss some more on that, I'm always here to help anybody and everybody, even if you're from another brokerage. We have scripts. I mean, we've used a number of scripts over here. Definitely, you can do so. You can knock on the neighborhoods and say what the property is sold for. You can walk on a neighborhood, knock on doors at the same time. So, yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you are within the RICO guidelines and everything. Absolutely. So, yes, definitely on this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This question came up before. Someone asked about the event that you guys are doing on
May 15th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know where to get the tickets?
I think we have it online. I don't know if the link is there, but there's an online link. I don't know if I can post it up also, or you can call the office and speak to myself at 416-298-8383, and it's taking place on Monday, May 15th at the Estate Banquet Hall right here on Markham and Nugget, and it's going to be at 10 a.m., and it's $99 per realtors. It's a full-day event hosted by myself and Century 21 Innovative, and by the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So it's going to be Don Green over there, and it's going to be Satish Verma, the president of the Napoleon Hill Foundation in Canada. So it's a full day of seminar. Climbing the ladder of success is, as we're calling it, helping you with your mindset training, helping you with progression in your business, progression in your relationship, and how you can proceed, move forward to that. So yes, absolutely, you can call myself or our brokerage over here. Please speak to any of our managers in Ajax or even Mississauga, and we can help you with that at the same time. All right? Anything else on this? But so persistence of most ideas, as they say, are born, and every minute it lives to get better chances of surviving. So you got to consistently improve on yourself. Consistently ask yourself the question, how can I get better and better? Every failure brings with it a seed of equivalent advantage, and that's very true. Remember what I say? You either win or you learn. Don't take it as a failure. Don't take it as a losing. You learn from this. That's very important. And that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about being persistent. Get out there, knock on as many doors. Get out there and ask yourself, what is it that I'm going to do? One thing I'm going to ask you to take today is, starting now, is try to see how many negative people you can stay away from today until next week. So important. It's not easy. Try to change your vocabulary for the next 7 days and stop using some of the negative, I can't do it, I don't know how to do it. Find a way to do it. Stop using some negative vocabularies. Ask yourself what it is. And ask yourself, where do you see yourself in the next 120 days, starting May 1st? May, June. So 4 months from now, May, June, July, August. That's pretty much the end of summer, right? End of summer. Wow, summer hasn't even started yet. Ask yourself, where do you see yourself in the next 120 days, or where do you want to be? Maybe you want to become a broker. Get that broker designation. Ask yourself, what do you want to do in getting more listings? Maybe 8 to 10 transactions, whatever that number is. Take action. Put plans in place. Where do you see yourself growing in the next 120 days? That's what it is. And if you want more details, or if you want more of the self-training, obviously we're going to have it on Saturday morning, but come May 15, it's a full day from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You'll be able to learn more. We're going to talk about I think 13 principles of success, the law of success that Napoleon Hill had, but at the same time, you're going to surround yourself among successful people. You're going to be able to meet with and greet with different people. What is it you're doing? What are you doing differently? What am I need to do to get to that? So that's what I would ask you to do. Ask yourself this question. May 1st is on Monday. You have tomorrow, today and tomorrow to think about it. Where do I see myself in the next 120 days? Make changes from there on. That said, ladies and gentlemen, next week we're going to be back here. And thanks again. Thank you again, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Perfect. All right. Persistent. That's what it is, man. What is? Oh, I was supposed to talk. What if? Get rid of those what if out of your life. Designation. What if? What if? What if? I'm done, right? Yeah. What if? Basically, stop saying that. What if? That's what I was supposed to end.